Hi there, Max and the Millions, Chapter 20. Luke stood beside the bed. Ahead of him lay thousands of red shacks scattered on the sand like blood drops. We did it, Excelsior, we made it. The journey across the desert had been long and treacherous. Excelsior could clear whole dunes in a single bound, but with the warflies on the lookout, Luke had no choice but to hide every few centimetres to avoid being seen. Once Giant and his friend left for the bin, the warflies had disappeared, and Luke had taken his chance. He rode like the wind to the Red Kingdom, stopping only to break into some abandoned houses along the way and put together a cunning disguise. Luke knew he didn't have much time. Once Giant had saved the Blues, the Bin King was sure to attack again. He had to find the Red Queen, explain everything to her, and get her on his side, fast. There was just one problem. He had no idea where she was. Luke stared hopelessly at the sea of red shacks. There was nothing that looked even remotely like someplace a queen would live. He needed to ask for directions, but everyone knew that Reds hated the Blues. If anyone found out who he was, they'd beat the living daylights out of him. He looked at the nearest building, a red salon right on the outskirts of town. It looked rough. The sort of place whose patrons would happily rip off his arms and legs and hit him with them. But it also looked like the sort of place where people didn't ask too many questions. Someone in there was bound to tell him where the Red Queen was. Plus, it smelled like there was food inside. Luke's stomach groaned. He'd never gone so long without eating before. In Blue Castle, he had only to snap his fingers and someone would come running with a tray of the finest crumbs. Now he was on a quest to save the whole floor, and he'd never been so hungry. He tied Excelsior to a post and patted her side. "Wait here, girl," he said. "I won't be long." Excelsior chirruped happily. Luke tried to look brave for her, but he knew the truth. If he let his disguise slip for a moment, if anyone suspected he wasn't a Red, he'd never get out of the salon alive. He gave his disguise a final tweak, adopted what he thought was a tough stance, and strolled through the doors. It was dark and dingy inside. There was a cluster of tables, some with miserable-looking Reds slumped over their drinks. Everyone seemed thin and pale and sick. Luke spotted a man at a table near him drinking alone. He slapped the man on the back. "Greetings, fellow Red. I'm trying to find the Red Queen. Do you know where she lives?" The man looked confused. Luke froze. Of course, the man didn't understand him. He was supposed to be talking like a Red. "I mean, all right, mate. I'm trying to find the Red Queen in it. Any idea where her gaff might be?" The man stared at Luke for a long time before he answered. "Are you wearing a bucket on your head?" Luke's face drained. He had no idea. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's have a look. Luke froze. Of course, the man didn't understand him. He was supposed to be talking. Oh, we've read that bit. Hang on. "Are you wearing a bucket on your head?" Luke's face drained. He had had no idea that the thing on his head was a bucket. He thought it was some kind of rustic peasant hat. "Are you all right?" said the man. "You're sweating a lot. You should probably take off that dressing gown." This wasn't going well. People were beginning to look at him. Luke panicked. No thanks, mate. In fact, I just realised I don't need any help anymore. Bye, mate." He fled to the bar and sat down with a groan. He had to face facts. He didn't know what he was doing. If he was going to find the Red Queen, he needed help, and lots of it. "Can I help you?" Luke looked up. There was a girl standing on the other side of the bar, polishing a glass. She was about his age, with bright red eyes and bright red hair, tied in a ponytail and held in place with two small daggers. She also had a large club with a nail sticking out of it strapped to her back. "Yes," said Luke, "I'm trying to find the Red Queen. Do you know where she is? It's kind of a life or death situation." The girl blinked. "I just meant like a drink or something," she said. Luke's stomach groaned. "Do you have any food?" She pointed to a jar on the counter. "I've got these old pickled flea eggs, but someone left them out under the bulb, so I wouldn't..." She didn't bother finishing the sentence. Luke was already swallowing the eggs 6 at a time. Hungry? The girl asked. Luke nodded, as much as he could while shoveling whole eggs into his mouth. The girl snorted. Well, you won't find the Red Queen now. She's busy preparing the Red Army for war. It's only a matter of time before the Greens try to attack us. If Demon doesn't get us first. The girl shook her head. Ever since he turned up, the whole floor's gone mad. But it's not all bad, I guess. At least those Blues finally got what was coming to them. Luke stopped eating. Especially that spoilt wiener, Prince Luke, the girl continued. Last thing I heard, he was on the run across the desert. Ha! That puny little sap won't last 10 seconds without a fleet of servants wiping his bum for him. Luke chewed for a while before swallowing. Maybe he'll do really well, he said. The girl frowned. What do you care? I don't, said Luke. I hate the Blues just as much as anyone else. It's just, always worth questioning your sources and so on. He grabbed another handful of eggs. Plus, you have to admire Prince Luke's heroism, don't you? Going on a quest to single-handedly save the floor, being the only one who realises that Demon's not evil, and making an alliance with him to save the Blues. Certainly makes you question whether you should be calling him a wiener, doesn't it? The girl was confused. What do you mean, save the Blues? The Warflies chased Demon. The Reds glanced at each other. Luke could see that some of them were tempted. Ivy put her hand on his arm. We'll let you know if we see Prince Luke, she said to the Fly Rider. As for your offer, thanks, but no thanks. The Reds will never bow down to the Bing King. Ever. There was a mutter of angry agreement from the Reds, even the ones who looked tempted only a moment earlier. The Fly Rider glanced around the salon and shrugged. Suit yourselves. He turned to leave, then stopped. But I should point out the age of the green floor is coming. Do you really want to be on the wrong side of history when the inevitable happens? Because when it does, the Bing King will not look kindly on those who refused him. We'll keep that in mind, said Ivy. The Fly Rider took one long last look around the salon, then stormed out. The green soldiers followed. One by one, the Reds returned to their seats, but fear filled the room like hot smoke. No one could doubt the meaning behind the Fly Rider's words. The Greens were going to attack. It was only a matter of time. Luke turned to Ivy, dripping sweat. Thank you. What for? For not handing me over. Ivy rolled her eyes. Please, we Reds hate the Greens even more than we hate the Blues. There's no way we'd let the Bing King have you. But seeing as I did just save your life, I need a favour. Anything. Turn around for a second. Luke turned around. Why, what's behind? Ivy whacked Luke on the head with her club, knocking him out cold. She slung his unconscious body over her shoulder and carried him out the door, as easily as if he were a bag of rubbish. Honestly, she muttered, what a wiener.